I still get nauseous when I think about all those chemo treatments I had. After several hospitalizations for bowel obstructions, a blood transfusion, Neupogen and Procrit shots 15 days a month, holes in my cheek and big blisters on my tongue, skin irritations and just plain tiredness, I was not in favor of continuing my second round of treatments for any more months than I already had had. I felt in my spirit that God had given me the assurance that He was healing me. I still had the nodules in my left lung, although they had slightly shrunk. I told the doctors to take me off chemo, that I was claiming the Lord's healing. It was my body, my choice, so they agreed, but prescribed tamoxifen, which is oral chemo, tablet form. 4 months went by. No change in the size of the nodules. That was well into 2001. May the 1st, I call it May Day for several reasons, my mother had been up to visit and she was anxious to get back home. So my granddaughter and I took her grocery shopping first. I was so excited. I had wanted another van ever since the old one had broken down. A neighbor about 2 miles away had offered me hers for just a few $100s. But I noticed that it fumed quite a bit. It had been rather dirty, and I thought I had done a pretty good job of cleaning it up. It was such a pretty baby sky blue. Anyway, on the way home from where we dropped off my mother, it had been quite warm that afternoon, and in the sun it seemed to be getting warmer, and the smell was getting to me. I mentioned it to my granddaughter, so she took out the air freshener and proceeded to spray it. I had just been thinking how well I had made it through the day without tiring out. We were almost home. I saw one of the local school buses coming in the opposite direction. I slowed down and let the bus pass. That was the last thing I remembered. I remember seeing trees and green leaves, but I don't remember if that was before my trip or after. I was being transported somewhere. There was a warm breeze, felt like wings on either side of me, and I thought to myself, am I dying? Is this what death is all about? Something had happened, but I didn't know what. But I knew I was going somewhere. I started to go up, and I felt this warm breeze, and then I appeared before something bright. It was so bright I couldn't see anything but the brightness. And I knew I was before God. And I knew Jesus was there. Even though I couldn't see Him, I knew He was there. And this voice came and said, she can't go. She didn't make this right, and she didn't make that right. And there were 2 things I knew that I hadn't finished. One, I had started to try to make right, tried to pay something back that was overpaid, got it back in the mail. So I knew that was right. Stood there, and I said, Jesus, blood, and righteousness. I knew whatever God's judgment was right, because He was righteous. And I knew I had nothing of my own to offer, but I stood there, saying, Jesus, blood, and righteousness, Thy will be done. And I heard a voice. Such a peace came over me, and I just seemed like I was going to go toward Jesus. And this peace came over me that His blood was covering me, that I was protected. And then I heard a voice, go back. Your work's not done. And I woke up to the sound of a helicopter and people talking, and someone said, "Are you all right?" I remember saying, "I guess I am. I'm talking to you." Then I realized I must have been in an accident. And I must have been hurt pretty bad. I heard someone say, "Grandma." Then I remembered my granddaughter had been with me, and my granddaughter. They said, "Your granddaughter's okay. She's right here. Once we get you in the helicopter, you'll be able to touch her." I felt myself being lifted out. So they proceeded to put us in the helicopter, and I was in and out of consciousness. I don't know how long. They told me I was on a respirator that night. My family came in to see how I was. They weren't sure if I was going to make it. My brain was bleeding. My ribs were damaged. My knee was cut to the bone. I was black and blue from head to toe. My granddaughter was scarcely hurt. Thank the Lord for that. One thing we're still amazed about, she told us there was a nice young man that had helped her out of the van. She said he was already in there and told her that someone was going to come to help her shortly, to stand there. And there was an eyewitness to the accident that didn't see anybody there. We think it may have been an angel.